So, I was checking my Facebook page and someone linked me to their YouTube channel. The channel description said, I shit you not, a SuperFunnyBros styled comment series. Upon further inspection, I had come to the conclusion that this commentator's style was anything but the apparent influence. Experiencing deja vu? Well, you're not crazy for thinking it, because this is exactly like when RTV 190 Returns was also inspired by me and also sucked. I was going to do a commentary on his Clay Claymore commentary, but commentaries on CommentJack already popped up before I could even start working on it. So instead of contributing to the bandwagon, I decided to make this message to CommentJack. Why? Because as I said earlier, he was influenced by me, and I think the only person he would actually listen to is me. So CommentJack, if you're watching this, here is my message to you. Everything that McBoy Redux, Deterrafeet, and everyone else that has done a commentary on you have said are true. Your commentaries are worthless. They offer no insightful criticisms and no genuine humor. All of the criticisms that you did try to dish out were either non-existent or very incoherent. Like this, for example. That's it. No verbal response, no witty quips, no sound whatsoever? Just an awkwardly silent face hoof?
The citizens of Townsville cannot tie their shoe without the Powerpuff Girls.
Straw manning. And this was on the top of my head.
And you don't know what a straw man is. A straw man fallacy is using a weaker version of your opponent's argument so that it's easier to debunk. Clay Claymore did no such thing at that part. Of all the spots where you could possibly argue that he did pull a straw man, you picked the non-existent one. So yeah, you can't seem to criticize coherently and sensibly.
I'm pulling this out of my ass.
You got that right.
If you go to the comments and write anything that implies something about my sexuality or my religion, not only am I going to remove your comment and block you, but I'm gonna track your ID and you will go to jail.
So not only are you terrible at giving criticism, you're also terrible at receiving criticism. You must have very thin skin when you have to block people and even threaten to call the authorities on people that were just joking and not sexually harassing you, as you say. I don't care if you're 14, it doesn't give you immunity. Now let's talk about your humor. I admit that I'm not the funniest commentator in the community, despite my name, but I at least try to put some humor into them. And when I do, it works. Your jokes, however, fall flat more than the do the flop guy.
I don't find your show funny, so I'll call it anti-humor. Ha ha, I'm a special snowflake.
And on a technical standpoint, your audio quality is terrible.
Have you ever worked with a broken USB?
Is it the microphone that's broken or the computer? If it's the microphone, then why don't you buy a new one? You can get mics with decent audio quality for ridiculously cheap prices. In this day and age, there is absolutely no excuse for not having a decent microphone. But even if you got a good microphone, there's also the issue with your voice. It sounds very monotone in your videos, even when you actually try to emote. And before anyone calls me a hypocrite, monotone voices can be fixed. I used to have a monotone voice in my really old videos and even my first commentary, but later on I got better. This next issue may be small, but your skipping intermission is way too long. This is how long yours is.
Right, son.
Almost 8 seconds. This is how long mine is.
No, go past this part. In fact, never play this again.
A little over 4 seconds. Your skipping intermissions need to be short and sweet. Anything longer than 5 seconds is too much, because if your video involves multiple skipping intermissions, then it's going to be monotonous. I would suggest cutting yours in half. And finally, your skips never explain why you're skipping. They'll just pop out of nowhere and leave the viewers puzzled. One last argument I have for you left. You are without a shadow of a doubt a mysterious Mr. Enter fanboy. This has been proven by you trying to damage control the rather legit points that Clay Claymore had. While I'm not exactly fond of Clay Claymore's ad hominems on those that do like the Powerpuff Girls among other shows, he does bring up valid points such as Mr. Enter's mediocre editing and his incomprehensible understanding of humor and satire.
Okay, first off, he never said she hated Family Guy.
Well, 3 of his animated atrocities on Family Guy should prove well enough that he does hate the show. So you give Ben the loony shit for hating Family Guy, but not Mr. Enter? And let's not forget the fact that you have told other people in the comments to stop criticizing him. That is proof beyond a reasonable doubt that you are a fanboy. I'm sorry if my criticisms sound harsh to you, but that's how I critique. I never sugarcoat my words or else I would sound dishonest. I appreciate that you enjoy my content and I'm flattered that I can be a commentary influence to someone. Don't get me wrong. But you have shown a bad first impression to me and the community. You need a better microphone, and you really need to think about your arguments before actually using them. It's like delivering a pizza. If you put in the effort and time to making it, the person paying for it will be very satisfied. But if it's rushed out only to save time and to get your money sooner, then it's not going to be good. You've already made 3 full commentaries and a one-shot in less than a month. It shows me that you don't put the time and effort into your commentaries. If you have friends, have them watch your commentaries and ask them for feedback before you upload them to the public. I always proofread and screen test my commentaries with my friends before uploading them to make sure they are good for my viewers and subscribers. And likewise, I do that for them too, because my critiques can be helpful. So that's my message to you, CommentJack. I hope you take what I say to heart and actually improve on your next commentary. Otherwise, you're going to become an easy target to the community you're trying to be a part of.
Today's commentary is on RTV 190 Returns. Who is this guy? Well, for looking at his videos, when he's not ranting about overdone topics like false flagging and PewDiePie, he takes part of the Ben the Looney bandwagon. But the one I am commentating on is his commentary on, I'll just call him Bob. So Bob made a rant on Cartoon Network, and this somehow made RTV decide to make a commentary on him because, well, let's just face it, it was just because Bob doesn't like most of the shows currently airing on Cartoon Network. Now, what made me decide to do a commentary on this guy? I guess he gave me credit at the end of his commentary as inspiration. Of all the popular commentators on YouTube, he chose to be inspired by me. I assume it's because I made that commentary on one of Ben's videos. I don't know. You would think he would be inspired by Garugalos or Foxtrot Delta Lima, but I digress. Let's begin the commentary, shall we?
What's up, guys? This is RTV190 here, back with another commentary.
What? Speak up! I can't hear you because of how incredibly quiet you are. Are you doing this late at night with your parents sleeping, or what? And for that matter, why are you using Audacity's noise removal effect if you're going to sound quiet? All that does is distort your voice, which makes it harder to understand your words. If you're going to use noise removal, then talk louder.
Now, this next video, I have a response to my a last commentary where I basically bashed.
Oh, for God's sake, edit out your stuttering! Does that take too much time for you?
No, go past this part. In fact, never play this again.
So in the first 2 parts I said my opinions about several Cartoon Network originals.
See, at least this person's voice is clear enough to understand. If the person you're arguing sounds more prepared and clear than you are, then there is a serious problem.
But after that, almost everything that premiered was terrible.
Did I already say that this duos installed hard? Oh wait, I did? Because if so, that last clip right there, that wasn't even a minute, just proved.
Wait, what happened? You just cut off right there. Either you're so inept to properly edit a video, or your iMovie is on the fritz. Which doesn't surprise me because Macs are overpriced pieces of shit. Yeah, I said it.
A fan of action cartoons, since I prefer comedy. But now I prefer these cheesy action shows over everything else on this channel. Anyway, let's continue with other shows. I'm going to start with the European co-productions. Most of these shows weren't shown in the United States. No surprise, most of these shows are terrible.
Did you seriously just call me racist? Okay. Let me explain something, you little goober. Stating that most of the European co-production shows for Cartoon Network were bad does not warrant racism. Do you know why? Because Europeans are not a race! Let's continue before I drag this on for too long.
The first show I am going to talk about is Fat Dog Mendoza. This show is not funny, has many creepy characters and nothing makes sense. A few episodes of this show are on YouTube. I hated it since it premiered in the 90s and I still hate it. My rating for this show is 1 out of 5. Here's a clip from one episode.
But anyway, we got the money.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh. What are you doing? Reviewing a TV show or giving a fucking... trying to do a professional movie review? Seriously, that's not how you do show review. You can tell how half-assed this rant is.
And I can tell how fast this commentary is, because reviewing a TV show is nothing different from reviewing a movie. Commentaries fall under fair use, which does not violate copyright, so the purpose of this skip was invalid.
This show is so bad that it's actually entertaining, but it can't be taken seriously.
Yeah, if you say that it's entertaining, then why are you talking shit about it?
He just said that the show is so bad that it's good. So, by your logic, if I said that The Room is so bad that it's good, does that mean I really think it's a good movie? Did you only watch this video once as you were making your commentary?
The next show that premiered is Spaced Out. This show is a complete ripoff of the Jetsons.
Because it was, a parody of the Jetsons?
Network even had the nerves to make a promo for this show with the Jetsons theme.
Going back to what I said before, it's a parody!
Going back to what I said before, talking like this makes people not take you seriously.
The animation is really bad and the characters look ugly. I heard somewhere that this show was cancelled because of an inappropriate joke. In one episode, 2 aliens visit the humans, and one woman asks if the aliens reproduce the same way as humans. And one of the aliens said, "No, that's too messy. We clone ourselves." Anyway, this show was bearable and it gets a 3 from me.
No, some of these shows I've never really heard of before, so I have limited info. On these shows, so I really can't tell on these shows because I really never seen them before, so I don't know.
Well, if you didn't know anything about these shows, then why bring it up in the first place? Actually do some research about something that the person is talking about before tackling one of their videos. Google is your best friend. 'Cause we are very special friends. And Bing is Google's evil twin.
After that came the Cramp Twins. Lucian is likable and Wayne is annoying. The animation of this show was bad, some characters had yellow, purple and green skin, and the show itself was boring. It gets a 2 from me.
I would have given that overblown pile of goat shit and a 0 out of 5. Yeah, I hated that show.
So now you're criticizing him because it gave it a more positive rating than you would? Hey, in case you haven't noticed, everyone has different opinions on everything. And telling us what you would give for the show is not relevant in the slightest.
Another European co-production is Robot Boy. This show would have been much better if they got rid of Gus. He's annoying and stupid. The only 2 likable characters in this show are Constantine and Dr. Kamikaze. But sadly everything else in this show was quite bland. It gets a...
Once again, I wouldn't have gave that piece of shit a 0 out of 5.
Again, nobody gives a shit about what rating you would give for the show. We want counterpoints, and you're not giving us any.
Now, this next one gets really long, so I'm just going to skip it.
My boy, one cannot just skip a piece of video unless they had a good reason. At least I had a good reason for skipping a bit of yours. Your voice was putting me to sleep.
And the final co-production is Chop Sucky Chucks. This show is horrible. The animation is disgusting, the characters are one-dimensional, and the jokes suck. It's another show that gets a 0 for me.
How the fuck is the animation disgusting? It's fucking CGI, for God's sakes. You should love it.
I'm all for giving different animation styles a chance, but if someone prefers one medium of animation over the other, then there's nothing wrong with that.
No, because of the limited info on this next one, I'm just going to keep it in here.
No, go past this part. In fact, never play this again.
In the USA, Cartoon Network has also live action shows. I watched a few shows and they weren't funny, and also Disney's teen sitcoms are more entertaining than this. I'm giving all shows a 0, not only because they suck, but also because the name of this channel is Cartoon Network. And finally, now I'm going to
Okay.
I know I already pointed this out, but god damn it, cutting away 3 seconds late from where you were supposed to cut to is getting really distracting, and it shows how much of a sloth you are in making videos. I'm almost compelled to compare you to Hodge right now.
Just because it's called Cartoon Network doesn't mean that they can't have live action stuff. Maybe they're experimenting. Trust me, I've seen worse from Cartoon Network. A lot worse. Then also to sum up this total drama rant, I have a very famous clip.
So, we're resorting to nostalgia critic clips now. Fucking typical. I like Doug as much as the next guy, but when you use clips like these that don't add anything to your points at all, and instead is a desperate attempt at making your videos funny, then I see a bleak future for you on YouTube, as if it wasn't bleak already.
Yeah, I also forgot to count for his rant on Johnny Test.
Here's an idea, let's use the same exact clip that we just used 4 seconds ago, and have it sped up. It just screams, am I funny yet, guys? Huh?
Another idiotic show is Hero 108. This show has really bad animation, annoying characters, very simple episode plots, and it isn't funny. Also, several heroes have really stupid superpowers. One has the power to shoot electricity through his eyeballs when he eats bananas. And Mystic Sonia is fighting with her long blue tongue. She also has a living hat, and everyone that says to Sonia 3 times I love you becomes a living hat. Anyway, this show gets a 0 from me.
Okay then, Dickwad, then explain to me this. How the hell let's get its own video game and a good strong fan base?
Really? Are you seriously gonna call him a dickwad because of that train wreck of an argument? So just because My Little Pony has a video game and a fanbase, does that mean we all have to like it?
Next is Matt. Even before it premiered, I was interested in this show because I am a huge fan of Matt TV and I wanted to know if this show is good or if it sucks. It is actually good. Sure, this isn't Matt TV, but it has funny jokes, and the gross and completely weird and random jokes are only in a few sketches in each episode. This actually doesn't bother me, because this show is not trying to make a plot. Also, there are more good jokes than bad ones. The only problem this show has is that the jokes will be outdated in a few years. For now, this show gets a 4 out of 5.
Okay, I find it extremely hypocritical that you criticize Adventure Time Regular Show for having gross humor, but yet you let Mad pass? Fuck you.
Oh my god! He made an opinion that I don't agree with! Also, regular show focuses mainly on surrealism, while Adventure Time focuses mainly on, well, adventure, and not gross humor.
You know, I'm starting to sense something a horrible thing that's like this video. Something so bad it shall never be mentioned again. Something of a very nostalgia-tard-ish feeling. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, then the loony with the overused Darth Vader thing. Real mature, buddy.
Also, Cartoon Network has several reboots. Let's start with Star Wars: The Clone Wars. I'm not a fan of Star Wars, so I don't care about this show. However, I think it shouldn't be in CGI because the characters look as wooden as Pinocchio. Another reboot is The Garfield Show. This show is boring, unoriginal, not funny, and the characters move like robots. Also, the CGI makes the characters look really ridiculous. Garfield is talking all the time to the viewers and explains things that everybody knows. Why? Does he think we are idiots? This show gets a 1 from...
You know, the Garfield show isn't actually as bad as some people say it is. If you just watch a few episodes, you would realize that it's not as bad as everybody says it is.
Well, if he didn't see any episodes, then why would he say these things about it? Unless if you can show proof that he didn't, which I bet you can't. Also, what's with the whole is thing? Are you speaking faster than how slow your brain seems to process words in your mind? Now, I'm skipping the part where he talks about Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc., Batman Brave and the Bold, and Tom and Jerry Tales, because RTV decides to say nothing during this time and decides to skip the Looney Tunes show review.
Once again, seeing as his thoughts on the Looney Tunes show are extremely long, I'm just going to skip this part because it gets way too boring. No, seriously, the rest of the video is him bitching about the Looney Tunes show. And what do I have to review next? Oh no, don't tell me Why do I have to review this pile of shite next? It's so bad.
Never, ever talk over a video with audio quality that bad. You do not deserve such privileges. Notice how embarrassed I feel as I watch my name scroll up in his credits. A note to the other noble commentators out there, do not let this kid give you credit in his videos. And that's the whole shebang, and a pretty disgusting one at that. You were not inspired by me. That is complete bullshit. If you were, you wouldn't have made a terrible commentary. The only thing that you grasped from me is my ability to be consistent in all of my commentaries, which you did, but not in a good way. And just like your first commentary, this was a major shitfest. Bad audio quality, bad editing, bad execution, bad points, the works. My advice to you is to rework how you make your videos, or else you're going to keep getting 0 likes in any of your videos. And unless if you do fix those problems, never put my name in your videos again. I do not want any of what little credit that you put into this.
Today's video is about a guy named Low-End PC Gamer, who does benchmarks for games with a budget gaming PC. These videos were pretty cool until he made 2 videos. One called 10 Reasons Why PC is Better Than Consoles, and the other called 10 Reasons Why Consoles Are Better Than PC. I'm commentating on the latter. 5 reasons are typically the go-to amount for videos like these, but 10? Well, points for originality, I guess? Let's start this commentary, and back into the warp pipe we go.
So in my previous video I talked about why PC is better than a console, but that doesn't mean that there's nothing to love about consoles.
And almost immediately we come to the first major problem of the video. Your voice quality is garbage. But you don't need an expensive microphone to get a good sound. There are ones that are way cheaper and still give decent voice quality. For your future videos, get a better microphone, please.
So here are 10 reasons why consoles are better than a PC. So let's get on to it. Consoles are the way to go if you are on a budget. And if you want a game and you're on a budget, consoles are the way to go. Now, you can pick up an Xbox One for just $300, I guess, and a similar price range PC will hold up to an Xbox One for some time, but over time, the Xbox One will play games better than a PC because PC hardware demand is very high when time goes out.
No, a custom PC with a similar budget to an Xbox One will always run better. There are videos on YouTube that can show you how to build an effective budget PC. Also, even if the PC you get is more expensive than a console, in the long run, the PC gamer will save more money, because games for PC are generally cheaper than on a console.
You know, if you know what I mean. So the next reason is the lifespan of the consoles. Consoles can, you know, a generation of consoles can hold up to around 5 to 7 years, but a PC will, average lifespan of a PC is around 3 to 4 years if you don't upgrade it.
Upgrading the hardware on a PC is not the same as getting a new console. When the lifespan of a console ends, then you have to buy a new console because the previous console will no longer be supported. On a PC, when there's new hardware that you can upgrade, you don't have to get a new PC. You can simply replace the hardware within that PC and increase its lifespan exponentially longer than a console. There's also the fact that you don't have to upgrade if you don't want to. Yeah, over time your PC might not be able to run the latest games at high settings, but you can still play them on a lower setting and resolution to get an optimal frame rate.
And then there's the optimization. When a game released, if you're on a PC, if you're a PC guy like me, you have to worry about a lot of things. First of all, what are the requirements, and if you meet those requirements, how the game will run. And if you don't meet those requirements, will the game run on my PC? Hopefully yes, and you buy it and bam, it runs like crap.
I don't think you understand what optimization means in gaming, because you later bring up Batman Arkham Knight as an example of PC having poor optimization compared to consoles. It's not the PC's fault that the game had severe performance issues. That's the fault of the developer for releasing a shitty product, and they got the backlash that they rightfully deserve. Games on consoles are not optimized. 30 frames per second is not an optimal frame rate to play at, or even an acceptable frame rate to some. 60 frames per second is essential because a lower, stuttering frame rate can hinder your skills as a player. When you play a game in 60 FPS or higher for a period of time, you can look back and see how terrible playing in 30 FPS really is. Consoles are not meeting the standards that are the bare minimum for PC.
But for console gamers, it's nothing to worry about. You know, if a game comes to a console, let's imagine Xbox One, and it'll run pretty good, and at 900p at around 60 fps, and it's pretty good. And some games are most games.
You're not good at doing videos unscripted, especially when you trip over your words so much that it's hard to understand what you're saying sometimes. You said you have 10 reasons why consoles are better than PC, and yet you don't lay out what each reason is. I can make an educated guess that not only you're doing this unscripted, but you don't have any kind of guide to help you coherently make your argument, and just hoping you'll come up with 10 reasons that pop into your head.
But it's still not running as good as it runs on consoles. And of course then there's the console exclusive games lines, and you know, you have for PS4 you have Until Dawn, Last of Us Remastered. For Xbox you have Forza 6, and then you have Halo's franchise. And I mean, there are pretty good exclusive for consoles and not as much for PC.
PC has more exclusives than all of the current gen consoles combined. Also, consoles having exclusives is not a positive. It's actually a negative. Not everyone is going to like me saying this, but I honestly believe this is the truth. You might want to sit down because we're going to be here for a while. I am against console exclusives because they're anti-consumer and hurt the gaming industry as a whole. Let me explain why I believe that. The reason Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo have exclusives is to give you an incentive to buy their console for those games, right? Let's say, for the sake of argument, that there are no exclusives. You can play all of their games on PC. Why would you spend your money on a gaming machine with shitty hardware and you can't upgrade to make it better because Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo say so, that lacks a variety of games, and in Microsoft's case, make you pay $60 a year to play online in addition to your internet bill and still be subjected to advertisements on a premium service? The only reason consoles exist is because of exclusives, and they hurt the gaming industry because developers make less money than if their games went third party. PC exclusives, however, are perfectly fine. The reason a PC exclusive exists is because either it's too graphically demanding for consoles to even run, or the controls are so comprehensive that you can't relegate them to a standard controller. That's why genres like real-time strategy games are non-existent on consoles.
And most of the games released early for console versions. The developers released their games early for console versions. If you take GTA 5 for example, it took 2 years after its initial release for the game to come to PC, and around 2 months after the Xbox One and PS4 released to come to PC. So like it takes a long time for games to come to PC, and that's okay, because you know there are lots of things to do if you're releasing a game for PC, and it takes time. But you know, so it's another advantage that consoles have.
That's not always the case though. There are games where the PC version was released the same time as the console versions. Yeah, console gamers got to play Grand Theft Auto 5 first, but it doesn't matter which version comes first. What matters is which version is the best.
Early release games. And console is the way to go if you're trying to play with friends. You know, you just invite your friends to your home and you just hang out and take your console controls and just get into the couch and play. But you can do it with PC, but you know, just one mouse and just one keyboard by two people, I don't think it's pretty weird.
This guy seemed to forget that there's these things on a PC called USB ports that allow you to plug in your Xbox, PlayStation, or third-party controller and play games that way. So you can plug in multiple controllers and play split-screen multiplayer. And he forgot that you could plug your PC to a television via HDMI. Couch gaming is not an exclusive to consoles.
Of course, console is portable. I mean, like, you know, you can just put it in your bag and, you know, go to your friend's house, connect it to your TV, connect it to their TV, and you know, you can play. And I mean, like, it's pretty portable. The PC, not so much. You have to take the UPS, you have to take the whole PC and put it in the deck of your car and anything. And you know, PC is not that portable, but consoles are, and you can just plug your console pretty much everywhere. But with PC, it's not that practical. So
why are we arguing about portability? Who the hell cares whether a console or a PC is easier to lug around than the other? That's not a reason to get a console. It's nothing. It's irrelevant to the topic of which should you get. You really are making this crap up as you go.
That's another advantage consoles have. And I guess that's it for this video. Those are the reasons what consoles do better than PC. Consoles are pretty good. I mean, I'm not saying they're bad, but if you have money and if you have lots of money, PC is the way to go. But if you're like me, then go for a console. I hate PCs right now because lots of games are running like crap on my PC right now, and it's 10 years old.
That's your own fault, not PC gaming. You're trying to play the newest AAA games with low-end hardware. Of course you're going to have a rough experience. Specifically, his CPU is an Intel Pentium G4400. His graphics card is an NVIDIA GTX 750, and he has 8GB of DDR4 RAM, which is standard for gaming, but not ideal. When you look at his gameplay videos, you can see how the frame rate lags and stutters even at the lowest settings in 720p. If you want to play new games like these at 60 FPS or above, you're going to have to upgrade or play a game that's not as graphically demanding. Trust me, there are a lot of great games that don't require expensive hardware to enjoy. And it's not really expensive to upgrade either. You can get an NVIDIA GTX 1050 Ti for $150. Here's a new Intel Core processor for $200. Now when it comes to changing CPUs, there is a possibility your current motherboard may not be compatible. If that becomes the case, then here's a micro ATX motherboard from Asus that's $74 on Amazon. Also, are you sure those were 10 reasons why consoles are better than PC? Let's do something that this guy was too lazy to do and list off his reasons for him. 1. Budget. 2. Lifespan. 3. Optimization. 4. Exclusives. 5. Release dates. 6. Split screen multiplayer. 7. Portability. You're missing 3, buddy. This video should have been called 7 reasons why consoles are better than a PC. Let's not forget that all of your reasons were complete shite, so in the end, you have 0 reasons why a console is better than a...
Now, what other thing could possibly have flaws? Well, you'll probably jump when you hear this. Cars!
Wow. I did not actually see that coming.
What on earth is wrong with cars today, I hear you claim?
Bad and unnecessary echo effect.
Well, calm yourself and allow me to explain. For the most part, the ways cars perform today are great. Yet, when it comes to certain parts, there are 3 minor things that don't seem right.
In other words, you like how cars work, but you don't like how cars work. Nitpicky much?
Digital screens for certain elements like the speedometer, temperature gauge and fuel gauge, electric window openers, and remotes that make the car honk.
It doesn't make the car honk, it turns on the vehicle's alarm.
First, let's discuss the electric window openers. The car has to be turned on in order for the openers to be operated, obviously. So if it starts to rain or snow and your windows are open, you have to get your keys, turn on the automobile, operate the buttons, and finally turn off the vehicle.
I wouldn't see a reason of having your windows open in the first place.
But what if you misplace your keys as well as a spare key?
Then you're a lazy bum that cannot even keep track of important things like your keys.
Say hello to a huge pile of cabin snow or big puddles on the seats, if the car isn't in a garage. While misplacing your car keys is very rare, it still happens.
I'll say it again, because some people are too forgetful for their shit.
Do you remember window crankers? They were better since you didn't have to go to all that trouble. They could be operated with or without the automobile on.
Let me explain why power windows are better. Not only does the driver have control of their own window, but they also have control of all the other windows of the car. It's to convenience the driver and the passengers who might be too young or physically disabled to control their own window while they're riding in the car. They were invented for a reason, Guptal.
But you know what's really sad?
Your fetish for women's head hair?
When I was discussing window crankers with my car dealer, he mentioned that only 2% of the auto industry use them. And yet people say that's progress? Yeah, right!
Did you forget that you're not supposed to trust car dealers?
By the way, if the car goes into water, the engine shortens out and you wouldn't be able to control the windows.
Why would your car be underwater in the first place, or even having yourself in that car? This isn't a generic action flick, this is real life and cannot possibly happen. And by the way, genius, the engine doesn't power the windows, the battery does.
Now let's discuss the digital meters and gauges. This is very minor, but the problem with these things is that if a fuse is blown, you wouldn't ever be able to see how fast you were going, how cold or hot the cabin is, how much gas you have left, and so on. At least with needle-based gauges, a blown fuse isn't too big a problem except during the night.
I will admit that I'm not a real expert on how gauges are operated, though I don't think Guptal89 is qualified to be an expert on this either. I don't think it's possible for a fuse in a car to blow out. Maybe unless the car stayed on for too long, but I highly doubt that has ever happened before. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments.
Finally, we come to the cars that make a tiny honk when you use their remotes. This also may be incredibly minor, but by my standards, it sounds like the driver is trying to get a pedestrian's attention when it's not their intent to begin with.
I don't think a millisecond honk is going to garner anyone's attention.
The chirping sound doesn't have that problem. Better yet, vehicles that are silent are the least distracting.
Well, if you park a silent car in a big and full parking lot, especially in daytime, you're going to have a really hard time finding your car.
Now we come to the second thing, the internet.
A typical thing to rant about for a twat like you.
For the most part, the internet can be very important for certain information. News stories, video game walkthroughs, etc.
Yes. Oh, how I love GameFAQs so much.
However, the problem with these is that in order to get to the websites, you can pay up to $12,000 for a computer.
I know you meant $1,200, that's not the problem. The real problem is, even then, computers cannot be that expensive. Except for Macs and gaming PCs, but that's only if you want the true experience of PC gaming.
If you were going to use a game console, you'd pay up to $150.
Yeah, but the Wii's web browser is incredibly shitty. Even the 3DS's web browser has better connection. Hell, my cell phone has better connection than the Wii.
It's true that there are tons of wealthy people who can afford those items, but what the community really doesn't seem to realize is that there are also poor people who can't afford something as expensive. Of course, internet cafes are much cheaper.
Yeah, but you can't watch porn on them. Just saying.
In spite of that, no matter what computer you use, the net can go down for a long time by way of a big mess up or hackers.
Not unless you have a security software like AVG, because AVG is fucking brilliant!
Because of the web, newspapers and video rental places like Blockbuster are in trouble. When video rental stores and newspapers are lost, everything gets more expensive and the poor get squeezed out.
Blockbuster did indeed file Chapter 8, but it was because of competition with Netflix. It wasn't necessarily the internet in general. Blockbuster is maintaining, as far as I know, over 600 stores. In addition to that, they also have their own website where you can rent and stream movies, just like Netflix. So Blockbuster is far from collapsing into nothing.
In the long run, I can't justify spending about $900 to get onto Netflix.com and create an account just so I can rent a movie when I can visit Redbox or Blockbuster and get what I want for just $1.
A day, Dylan. $1 per day for each movie you rent.
I could say the same thing about payphones. Cell phones can cost about $20 to $200, and payphones usually only cost 50 cents to use.
Per minute.
If a poor person purchases a cell phone, they can easily run out of minutes.
It all depends on your plan. If you get a bad plan like any idiot would, then you would have to buy another damn phone sooner or later. Most likely soon.
Once that happens, they may need to use a payphone to make a call if they're away from home. Also, much like misplacing your car keys, you could forget your mobile phone by accident.
Lazy, forgetful bums.
And if you need to make an urgent call, it's time for payphone hunting. Going back to the internet topic, what if in the future we would have to buy electronics strictly from BestBuy.com instead of the store, or hardware from the Home Depot's official website? American life is being turned upside down, and I don't think for good reasons. Something else I have begun to have a beef with is online school classes. Again, does nearly everything have to be over cyberspace?
Gupsel, this is what I'm hearing from you right now.
I don't like change!
The only advantage I can see with online classes is not having to drive to the school, especially in bad weather. Being in a classroom is better because you're always required to listen and do the assignments.
Honestly, I prefer online courses, and I'm sure there are multiple people that think the same way. With online classes, and I'm talking about this through experience, I didn't have to get up early in the morning, all of my course assignments were given to me with due dates for each, and I could start them whenever, as long as I turned them in on time.
Online classes can work the other way around. The information superhighway is the most distracting thing on the planet, and some students can easily stray from the college website and do poorly.
Well, that's the student's fault, not the internet. I think that's a lamer excuse than your dog eating your fucking homework.
Of course, things similar to this have happened in the past, although something tells me it's more severe these days. The cartoon short Internet Distractions by College Humor paints a clear picture on how diverting the World Wide Web is. In conclusion, don't throw out window crankers.
Throw them into the incinerator.
Video rental stores and newspapers should continue to thrive for decades.
They will, don't worry.
And online school classes can't be treated as another internet amusement.
Well, fuck my paper. I'm gonna watch Red vs. Blue for 2 hours.
Hey guys, Future Gohan is Shades here. And this is my response to the whole Toonami fiasco. And guess what? For the duration of this video, I'm gonna be all goody two shoes for this video because it was under my impression that rant videos are supposed to be angry. Isn't that the point of rant videos?
While being angry in a rant is indeed common, it's not really required. It really just depends on how angry the person is.
At least that was my understanding. Alpha Omega Sen gets to get away with it. Blackbuster Critic gets to get away with it. All these other people get to get away with it. But actually, you want to know the difference between me and BBC? Okay. Blackbuster Critic does rant videos, and one of my favorites of his is his rant videos on Marvel vs. Capcom 3. You want to know why that's one of my favorites? Because Marvel vs. Capcom 3, because Capcom will put whatever the fuck they want in that game. They'll shortchange you. They'll put shit characters in there compared to the previous title. They'll charge you extra for these characters that should have been in the game in the first place, and they'll put it out. And BBC made a rant video on that, and that made sense. He called them out. He called out the fanboys.
As much as I would agree with you, Future Gohan, I have one question. What the hell does the Blockbuster Critic and Capcom have to do with Toonami?
Guess what? It's the exact same situation, people, with Toonami. It's the exact same situation. They're giving you a $60 game, and you're like, oh, we gotta buy this game. We gotta support it. If we want to get those DLC packs of characters, we gotta buy this game. We gotta support it.
I'm sorry, but those dots do not connect. You're saying that Capcom's bad business decisions are the exact same thing as how Adult Swim runs Toonami, which doesn't make sense, because Adult Swim earned that money for reviving the television block. They need that money to fund more animated action shows for Toonami.
It's the same goddamn situation, people. It's the same situation. They're giving you a television block with 2 new shows.
And you think that's not good enough? You know, if Adult Swim didn't choose to revive Toonami, it would still be in the grave. Not to mention that they are airing anime that need exposure for people who want to get into anime or for people who want to see something new. Having something is better than nothing, right? And one more thing. Toonami is also airing shows that have never been on Toonami in the first place, like Bleach, Full Metal Alchemist, Cowboy Bebop, and Ghost in the Shell. So that makes 6 new shows.
No, go past this part. In fact, never play this again.
People are and for God's sakes, help me if I have an opinion. And the difference between me and BBC is that he attacked Capcom, and I attacked Toonami. I should have never made that video because I should have known the very minute I made anything discriminating that old cartoon block, I would have gotten hate up the asshole, regardless of what I said in that video. It wouldn't if I did anything but praise that television block in a single video, I will get hate for it.
No, we wouldn't get mad at you for merely ranting on Toonami. What we are doing is criticizing you for being really selfish about what Adult Swim is doing with it. We got the 4 shows that I've mentioned, plus Cashin' and Sins, and Dead Man Wonderland. How can you say that Adult Swim is shortchanging you when they have some top quality anime shows? Oh, that's right, the only reason you're pissed is because Dragon Ball Z Kai isn't in the lineup.
Anyone will get hate for it if they do anything that is not praising that television block, and it's true. It's true. Okay? But I gotta get calm, because regardless of this being a rant video, you're not supposed to be angry. You're not supposed to get emotional.
Hey man, look, no one is repressing you from expressing yourself. This is the internet, and you can say whatever you want. If you have something to say, then goddammit, say it.
Regardless, besides the fact that I do love this block, which is why I made that video. I loved Toonami. It's one of the biggest parts of my childhood. And so excuse me for feeling shortchanged when they feel the need to air old Adult Swim programming and only give me 2 goddamn new shows that don't even fit the Toonami geographic.
Didn't you say in another video that Toonami was basically an action block? So how can these 2 new shows that are action shows not fit the demographic of the fans?
Okay? You've got Dead Man Wonderland, a show that does... What? It classifies under science fiction horror.
As well as action.
And yeah, people bring up the fact of Hamtaro, but guess what? The difference between now and then is that you didn't have to watch Hamtaro. You didn't have to watch Toonami's old programming back then if you didn't want to. They didn't dangle Toonami in front of your face and say, you don't support... here's the keys. Here's the shiny keys. If you don't support this, we're taking it away from you.
So you're saying that Adult Swim is threatening to take away the Toonami block that was just started unless you watch their shows. Unless you have some actual proof that the people who run Adult Swim are doing this, you're hopelessly grasping at straws.
That's how it is right now, guys. Adult Swim is dangling Toonami in front of your face and says, if you don't support this, we're taking it away. If you don't waste your time to watch these shows. And guess what, guys? You're all like, I don't care. But guess what? I waste my sleep time. I watch Toonami at 11, and I watch it until it ends at 2. I watch it all the way through. I'm exhausted at about 1 o'clock in the morning, but I don't care. I pull through it, and I watch it until about 2 o'clock, and then I leave my TV on as I go to sleep. I sacrifice my sleep just to watch that thing.
Okay, so you stayed up until 2 in the morning. Should I care? You only have to do that once a week, and it's on a weekend.
And you people are calling me hypocrites and things like that. And okay, I'm gonna cover that again real quick, because, okay, tell me how... a single night dedicated entirely to nostalgia has anything to do with the entire block returning to continue on every Saturday with new anime and such like that. The April 1st was a night entirely for nostalgia. I made that rant video on people not appreciating it because we've been asking for a portal back in time for the longest time, alright? We've been asking for the portal back, and we got the portal back in time. That was the only point of that.
And I liked that video too, Future Gohan, because you sounded really unselfish about Toonami. But as soon as you saw the leaked schedule for it, you turned your back on what I thought you believed in.
And then we started asking for Toonami back permanently. But getting Toonami back permanently with only two damn... we got Toonami back permanently, but I'm not going to deny the fact that we got shortchanged. Yeah, they have a low budget, I know this. But again, you've got... They're like, oh, we have to have... Toonami's got to prove itself again. Yeah, considering the fact that on April 1st, DBZ had views that equaled almost that of Family Guy.
I can see that happening, but we can't be so sure.
And you have Adult Swim. Oh, they still have to prove themselves. Oh, let's dump more money into Eric Andre, or dump more money into this new show that absolutely no one will like. And yeah, I know some of these shows have fan bases, but regardless of that, they're really stupid shows. You can't deny the fact that they're really stupid.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Cowboy Bebop and Ghost in the Shell are two of the best anime shows.
And I mean, we fought for 4 years to be shortchanged. Are you kidding me? Do you realize where my point stands? I don't care if, where my opinion stands. I don't care if you disagree with it or anything like that, but do you realize where I have a problem with this? I have a problem with the fact that, and no, it's not the fact, I told a lot of people that I don't care that DBZ Kai is not on there, because I know that the price of it is extremely high.
Or it could also be the fact that it's on another channel.
But you also can't deny the fact that out of all the anime we asked to be on Toonami, they looked through all those anime, and they said, we can't get these, they're too expensive. Ooh, look at these other ones for cheap, let's get them.
Just because it's cheap doesn't automatically make it bad. That's superficial and shallow thinking.
Because the sad part is, guys, is that Adult Swim will... They could... Okay, let me tell you this. If Adult Swim took off all their anime, if Adult Swim put on Teletubbies, SpongeBob, Tim and Eric, and I don't know, some other stupid show, and they said, oh man, we're really low on funding, but if you guys waste your time and money and electricity to watch this, maybe sometime in the future, maybe we'll get better shows. Do you not see the problem I have with this? Because it's the same thing, just with slightly better shows. And you still can't deny... And Casher and Sins and all these anime are really dark. The Toonami Geographic had action shows but with lighthearted senses to them. DBZ, Naruto, Gundam...
Dude, it's called Adult Swim for a reason. It doesn't matter if a show is dark, because adults can handle stuff like that. And the fans who watched Toonami back then are pretty much adults now, so they can have the time and patience to watch the new Toonami at night because of Adult Swim. And another thing. What the hell makes you think that you know what the demographic of Toonami is when you have absolutely no clue as to how the television business works?
You know, they had these light senses to them, but were also really actiony. You know, Casher and Sins and Dead Man Wonderland, I'm sorry, do not fit this demographic.
They are action shows. Look them up. And again, you don't know anything about how the TV business works, so don't act like you know what's best for Toonami.
And I know Hamtaro didn't either, but again, they were never dangling Toonami in front of your face and say, oh, you don't watch Hamtaro, we're taking the block away from you forever.
Again, you keep saying this, but you don't have factual evidence to support your claim.
You realize how I have a problem with this? And everyone's blowing this all out of proportion, saying I should hang myself over a television block. You guys are saying I'm getting out of freaking whack over a television block, and you guys are saying in the comments I should hang myself over a television block? And I'm crazy.
That guy was probably either a troll or some idiot that nobody knows. And if you ask me, you are indeed overreacting to the new Toonami. You said before that you felt cheated and shortchanged, that you want to make Toonami a personal issue for yourself. Adult Swim is giving what the fans of Toonami wanted. Action shows, regardless of the content.
No, go past this part. In fact, never play this again.
Okay, but you guys really have to understand where I'm coming from. Try and do what I do. Think about it from every single aspect and angle of, oh, what if this, what if that, and how and why.
You know what that's called, James? A conspiracy theorist. You said that you make all these big assumptions about Toonami, and though you say you're right about what happened with Naruto, I'm not convinced. And I don't think other people are too. Besides the people who are blindly white-knighting you.
That's what I do. That's how I always get these things down to the T. And then that's why none of you ever understand what I'm talking about. Every time I make a video, everyone thinks that I'm speaking in another language. I'm talking about something that isn't even happening. I'm making too many big assumptions. And guys, that video was made before Toonami aired. You have to understand that it was an immediate reaction video. Okay, an immediate reaction video to that current lineup.
Even if it was just an immediate reaction video, you still have to provide some evidence and facts with what you say. Relying only on assumptions does not hold water, and the video becomes pointless altogether. Which then begs the question, why the hell does such a video exist?
Okay? And I thought about it. I thought about that for that entire day. I thought about that lineup and everything the entire day. And I made that video that night. And I don't even think I uploaded it until the next day. It was before Toonami even aired. And my opinions on it now, to be honest, it's okay. It's okay, alright? It's nothing amazing. It's okay. I mean, Toonami really dies after Casher and Sins. There's nothing to really keep me to watch it anymore after that.
Because you don't want to give Toonami a chance while it slowly but surely becomes better.
And I mean, I'm not really even that into Casher and Sins anyway. 2 episodes have gone by, and I just can't get into that thing. And sure, Cowboy Bebop is great, but I own it on DVD already. And I know the same thing about, oh, well, you own Kai on DVD already. Yeah, but, okay, there's not a single network that has ever aired Dragon Ball Z Kai uncut. And a lot of people don't even know Dragon Ball Z Kai is uncut. People are like, oh, well, that's up to Funimation and us to tell other people about the DVDs. Or was the entire point of Toonami not to give things exposure? Dragon Ball Z Kai, as an uncut series, needs exposure.
But if they put the uncut version of Dragon Ball Z Kai on television, then what's the point of buying the DVDs? Do you know why Sailor Moon had DVDs for both English and Japanese dubs? Because it got canceled at that time, and no one was able to watch it unless they bought the DVDs. The same thing with The Simpsons. You pretty much don't see the first few seasons of that show anymore unless you buy the DVDs. The edited version of Kai is the only thing you're going to get on television. Not to mention that Dragon Ball Z, whether it's the original dub or the Kai dub, has gotten enough exposure on television and needs to be put away for other shows that people don't know about, like Casher and Sins and Denman Wonderland.
And I say that Dragon Ball Z, I think Toonami needs to give more respect to one of the series that really shot its thing. And I understand about the low budget thing and things like that, but I mean, I feel cheated out of that too, because Adult Swim is putting money into Eric Andre, and not us.
Yeah, because you are the only person on the internet that thinks Adult Swim is so cynical and diabolical that they would go out of their way to bring back a classic TV block just to give Adult Swim some variety with their programming. They weren't even getting paid for doing it either. They did it because they wanted anime and action shows on their programming once a week to kill the redundancy.
Do you see how I feel cheated? Do you see how I just really feel cheated? Just think about it. Just think about it. Alright? Catch you guys later.
Here are my 10 most insane beliefs, and they are also a wonderful way to save America from itself.
And just to point out, 3 of them that he lists here are stuff that I only partially agree with, and the other 7 are complete garbage and don't help America whatsoever.
All right, here's 10 easy steps to save America, and it sums up my beliefs. And I'm actually throwing you fucking assholes a bone because I'm showing you something you can't actually say is controversial and you don't agree with, okay? Here's something you can finally say that's insane. Abolish prison. 5% of the people in prison are fucking nutbars who could not survive in society and deserve to be in a cage. The other 1.9 million, we've got what, 2.2 in there? They are there for stupid domestic charges, which is a chick who regrets it. She got beat up. She got a restraining order. She changed her mind. They got back together. She called the cops again a year later. He's now violated his restraining order and he's treated the same as a stalker who crawled through the window. Meanwhile, his socks are in her top drawer. That's fucking 400,000 people in jail. The drug war, well, that's just everything now. That's assault, murder, all these other, I'm sure it's linked to domestic abuse too. Stop incentivizing drug use and you stop having drug arrests.
I agree that we are throwing people in jail for a long time for things that are arguably minuscule, like drug use. If we legalized marijuana nationwide and put an end to privatized prisons, the prison population would definitely go down. But getting rid of prison altogether is nonsensical, especially for the crazy explanation he's about to give here.
So, and then you go, well, wait a minute, Gavin, you're crazy. What about murders? I'm going to handle that in number 2, but murder is a very rare crime. For someone to get to the point where they lose their shit so much they murder, they almost never do it again.
That's bullshit. While it is true that there is more recidivism for non-violent offenses than violent offenses, there is still some for murder. And even if it's as low as you say it is, that shouldn't be used to justify abolishing prisons. What if somebody did kill someone? How are we going to punish them? Are we going to go retribution style and execute them via firing squad? I'd rather not have a country that takes the lives of anyone, even if they deserve it. Are we going to go back to ye old times and put criminals in stockades?
And by the way, on this show, we're going to be making things called generalizations. Now, I know this is hard for 50% of the country to digest, but you're allowed to notice patterns.
No, there's a difference between patterns and making blanket statements. You, sir, make a lot of blanket statements, such as...
Video games are for little kids. Why are adults playing video games? My brother-in-law got my kids a Batman game for Christmas. They can't play it. It's for adults only. Batman? And you're sitting there, I'm Batman, I'm Superman, I can fly. Look at my Wolverine shirt. He has claws. You read comic books? That is for people who are special.
Look, not all Muslims are terrorists, but all terrorists are Muslims. All terrorists are Muslims. All terrorists are Muslims.
All right? So when I say there's nobody who has 2 heads and eats iguanas for breakfast, when you find someone who does actually have like a weird twin growing out of their side and actually does get so hungry in Arizona that they may pop a little gecko in their mouth, that doesn't negate my fucking point, okay?
Yes, it does. If you make an absolute statement, all I have to do is find one exception to negate your point. That's why you never make them. It's like when Dr. Trey81 said that the Wii U will have the definitive version of all your favorite games. He could not be any farther from the truth.
Just because you found an exception to the rule doesn't mean the whole fucking pattern is noticed. Oh yeah? Race exists? Really? I know an albino African dude who is part Czechoslovakian and part Native American. Ergo, there's no such thing as black people. No, fuckface. It means you know a weird person.
Nice straw man, Gavin. We're not saying that black people don't exist. We're saying that black people is a social term. The reason that there are black people is because of the environment. Back when we were Homo sapiens, we were all essentially the same. And when some left to different environments while the rest stayed, they changed and adapted to their environment. So other than the color of their skin, black people are no different from whites, or Asians, or Native Americans. And I guarantee that after enough interracial breeding, future generations are going to mainly have the same skin color, and then society will have to make a new name for them because we just have to put people in neat little boxes.
Next, number 2, we're going to give everyone a gun. You know who didn't get looted during the riots in Ferguson, or any fucking riot this year? The guy with the machete, the guy that was armed. Remember that dude, Machete Batman? What was he called? The Batman of Baltimore. He didn't have a gun. He just had a machete and no one went near him. Let's get him a gun. And we'll be talking about this with John Lott. He wrote an article recently on Fox's site about how rarely we discuss the armed people who stopped attackers. And one thing we can't even discuss because the numbers are so huge they're impossible to quantify, but the number of crimes that are deterred just by assuming she might have a gun in her purse.
So you're saying that by giving everyone a gun, nobody will shoot each other because they'll have a gun? I hate to break it to you, but some are going to shoot regardless if they have a gun. Retribution doesn't work, neither does deterrence. I don't want everyone to have a gun. I only want the right people to have guns. This question is for everyone that is pro-guns. What reason is there for an average citizen to have a gun other than for hunting? If your answer is self-defense, ever heard of tasers or maces? Shocking someone or spraying pepper into their eyes is just as effective, and it doesn't result in someone dying. Unless if a country is attempting to take over America or if The Walking Dead becomes a reality, you don't need a gun. The goal is to have less people killed from guns, not more. And numerous reports of accidental shootings show that we need better gun regulations.
You can't rape a 38. Number 3, legalize drugs. That takes care of our prison problem. Takes care of our guns problem. Right now, I don't understand why everyone in New York is so anti-gun when they're living in a failed gun control experiment.
Oh, you're still talking about guns. Nice of you to steer off course within 5 seconds. This is a second point that I partially agree with them on. I don't support legalizing all drugs because stuff like heroin and cocaine are synthetic processed shit that do overwhelmingly more harm than good. Cannabis, however, is natural. You can grow it. When you're smoking marijuana, it's only a plant ground up, whereas cigarettes have nicotine and various chemicals. In short, go natural or go fuck yourself. As if he says he.
What's next? I think we're up to 5 now, right? End welfare is a doozy, and I also learned this from my boy John Lott. Back in the 50s, when we didn't give black people money to dump their boyfriends, which is what single mother welfare is, break up with him here, they had a crime rate that was about the same as whites. Now we know the black crime rate is unfathomable. It's so high that Eric Holder has said, I don't want to hear about this. Okay, we won't tell you? No. Don't even record it. The racial crime stats are now done because Eric Holder saw them and his hair went white. His skin if his skin went white, he wouldn't have cared. So, since the 50s, however, we've incentivized welfare and we split up the family. That's a huge part of crime. That's a huge part of shit education. That's a huge part of all the problems.
The reason we have welfare in the first place is because of the ever-increasing income inequality in this country. It has come to a point where families that are relatively poor have little to no chance of getting higher in the income scale. So if you don't like the fact that the government is giving people free money just to be able to survive for a month, then you should be supporting higher wages and union protections for workers.
Next one. What are we up to now? 7? 5, close the borders. Anne's book sums that up real simple like. Adios, America. That's where we're headed with the borders. If you don't think that is an issue and you think that we're all a nation of immigrants and that most immigrants are sweethearts just coming here to clean your house, you're a fucking moron. Google it.
No, you're the fucking moron, Gavin. We are a nation of immigrants. The point of America is to be a multicultural nation. The Statue of Liberty says, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Very poetic. I understand that we have an immigration issue, and that we should find ways to fix it. But banning birthright citizenship is not the right solution, and it's unconstitutional.
Next. Outlaw censorship.
I'm skipping this part only because the example he brings up has absolutely nothing to do with censorship. Getting blasted for saying stupid shit is not censorship. It's called being an idiot and being treated like one. And Gavin blames his resignation on a gay man on Twitter who demanded him to be fired even though Brand Eek chose to resign on his own volition. God, this is Chick-fil-A all over again.
Next. Venerate the housewife.
Okay, before I let him make his point, I need to point out something you should know about him if you haven't already. This guy's claim to fame is being a militant anti-feminist. His main argument is that feminism in general is a cancer to Western society, and he uses studies that say women in general are statistically not as happy as decades prior and blames feminism as the cause of it. And then argues that women would be happier as housewives and with children than a career woman with no intention of having children because it's more natural for women to be in those roles. I've been reading several articles about these studies, and I found that it's more complex than what Gavin is trying to make it to be. So in short, he's a misogynist prick.
I don't know how many dried up ovaries I walk around next to every day. I barely know any chicks who have kids. All my friends from high school, their cunts are like rotten tea bags, baby free, and will remain that way. And they always say, good. I think kids are gross. They always say childbirth is gross too. And they can't wait to have their career. And I go, what's your career? And they go, scheduling marketing meetings with record labels. Oh, good. I'm glad you didn't create a human life. Let's stop making the housewife a sellout job and stop glorifying these shitty careers women take. There's something you can be offended by.
Gavin, why do you give so much of a shit about how women live? Why are you so upset about the trivial fact that some women just don't want kids? It's not like the human population is going to dwindle to nothing in 5 years because every woman in the world somehow magically doesn't want kids. I understand that feminism has a dark side. I've seen it. But the principle of feminism is not a bad idea. Don't let the more extreme ones taint your view of it.
Next. Glorify the entrepreneur. We're coming to the end here, guys. I'm sorry to drop so much heaviness on you at the beginning of a brand new show. I promise this will be much cheerier, but I have to get this out of the way so you know where I'm coming from. Michelle Malkin has a great book out called Who Built That? And it's making fun of Obama's stupid quote where he goes, You have a business? You didn't build that. People took roads to get there. Why does he talk Southern, by the way, when he's from fucking Hawaii? Don't they talk like Canadians? They sound like hosers to me.
I need to say this. I hate it when people make fun of how other people speak as an argument against them. I never made fun of Blaze the movie fan's thick Icelandic accent in my commentary because it would make me a total douche. Also, you took Obama's quote out of context because otherwise, you wouldn't be criticizing him for it. Here's the quote when it's actually put into context.
If you were successful, somebody along the line gave you some help. There was a great teacher somewhere in your life. Somebody helped to create this unbelievable American system that we had that allowed you to thrive. Somebody invested in roads and bridges. If you got a business, you didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen.
What he was saying is that it doesn't take one man to make a business. It takes a bunch of people. Bill Gates didn't make the corporate giant that is Microsoft on his own. Neither did Steve Jobs with Apple or Mark Zuckerberg with Facebook. And if it wasn't for other circumstances, they wouldn't be as successful.
We need to glorify entrepreneurs and vilify them less. Like, Donald Trump made a ton of money. That's cool. When the oil companies have record profits, you don't go, ew, gross, record profits? I want them to make record losses.
Another straw man. We vilify certain businesses because they have been influencing politics with money in order for them to make laws that benefit them at the expense of everything else to maximize their profits. It's essentially legalized bribery. Also, Donald Trump had several bankruptcies, costing hundreds of jobs and cost lenders over $1 billion. So he's both a shitty politician and a shitty businessman. All he's good at is being an image and a brand. If it wasn't for that bad toupee of his, he would be a homeless man pushing a shopping cart bitching about Mexicans.
Next. Recognize the West is the best. I want more. This is, I will admit, pretty offensive. I'm a Western chauvinist.
Oh, so in other words, you're a white supremacist. At least you're honest. I don't need to explain how incredibly stupid and egotistical this point is, so I'm just going to let the monkey talk.
I've lived all over the world. I know a lot about other cultures, and I know how much they suck shit. Okay? Multiculturalism reeks. And we see this every day with every attack. These jihadists go, well, I'm told America sucks, So what else you got? Oh, we have this culture Islam that's super proud of itself and wants to blow everything up. I'm in. And we choose that. If we could be more chauvinistic and more proud and not be sent home on Cinco de Mayo from our own high schools for wearing an American flag shirt, you would see a ripple effect from that patriotism of a lot more great American things. We don't suck. We didn't start slavery. We ended it.
Yeah, but America also wanted slavery to stay.
Let's be a little more smug. Last, shut down the government. All I can think of when people say that is roads. And I don't know where we got this idea that roads are free. When I go upstate, I end up spending about $40 fucking on my Easy Pass. They seem pretty privatized to me. So say we have a few more potholes, which I don't think will happen. We don't need them for anything. And let's stop imbuing all this faith into basically the DMV. You know when you go to the DMV and everyone there is borderline retarded and they can't even pronounce Gavin McInnes? You know those morons? That's the whole White House. All politicians are just ugly actors. It's Hollywood for ugly people, but even more ruthless and shallow. So let's stop coming up with these ideas where we go, let's get more regulation, like even Occupy Wall Street. Fuck the rich. We want to fucking close down Wall Street. We need more government regulation. They're screaming anti-cop stuff and waving communist flags.
You are so full of shit, they should call you a porn star's mouth. You have absolutely no clue what Occupy Wall Street stands for, and why there even is a protest like this in the first place. Homeowners got screwed from Wall Street because Wall Street is essentially responsible for the housing market collapse, which became a catalyst for the Great Recession that we're now trying to climb out of. And at this rate, another market collapse could happen because Wall Street has been deregulated up the wazoo and have zero accountability for what they do. As for protesters spouting anti-cop comments, that has been proven to have been fabricated by Fox News, a quote-unquote news channel that you are affiliated with and a regular guest.
I'm gonna make this short and sweet. This goes to all you transgender fucking freaks. I don't care if my fucking YouTube channel gets deleted. All these fucking freaks, these born a male, born a female, whatever. You can't change transgender. It says in the Bible that God made you male or made you female. Well, I'm gonna choose. No, it's not a choice. You can't choose to be male or female.
Sorry, but your ethereal sky daddy isn't going to stop people from choosing the gender that they would rather become than what they were born as. Religious beliefs will never be a basis for any decision from the government, both state and federal. Not in my country.
These goes to these fucking freaks that, these guys that wanna be a cheerleader. Or these, you know, these tomboys that want to be on the male football team because they're a fucking, well, I was born a girl, but I want to be a guy. It doesn't work that way. You can't change transgender.
This is the biggest misconception about transgender people. Some think that all you have to do to be a transgender is to just say you're the opposite of the gender you were born with without any effort to change your appearance. It's like if a guy out of the blue says that he's a woman, but he still looks and acts like a guy. Real transgenders really look like their desired gender. Look at Caitlyn Jenner. I'm gay and even I think she's beautiful.
I was listening to something on the radio today while driving down I-85. I'm in North Carolina right now. I'm in Salisbury, North Carolina, hour north of Charlotte. I'm on my way to Atlanta, then on my way to Texas. So anyway, you cannot change these fucking transgenders. You know, I'm not trying to discriminate. But yes, I am discriminating. I don't care if you call me a bigot.
Well, at least you're honest.
And to these Christian bakeries that deny cakes to these gay weddings, keep doing what you're doing, losing their businesses and getting fined and shit.
Not unless you're a Christian pizzeria and you get almost $1 million in donations for discriminating gay people. No offense to all my viewers from Indiana, but your state sucks. Indiana is the Texas of the North.
There's a guy out there who's asking these bakeries that that make cakes for weddings, he's asking them to, well, make a cake for my traditional marriage, and on a cake I want you to put gay marriage is wrong. And 13 businesses refuse to do it. There's a guy out there on Facebook. It works both ways. If I own a Christian bakery, I'm not gonna make a cake for your fucking gay wedding.
I don't care if you're a Satanist bakery. Your job is to make cakes for everyone. Some might say, well, why don't gay people just go to a different bakery then? I shouldn't have to be inconvenienced because some stubborn asshole won't bake me a cake for my gay wedding. I should be able to go anywhere without being turned down for my orientation. As for bakeries refusing anti-gay cakes, they're in the right because it's derogatory to shame groups of people on your cake. I don't care what the hell you believe, as long as you don't shove your views down my throat. Otherwise, keep your beliefs to yourself because I don't want any of your crap.
To these transgenders out there, they had a transgender boy here a little while ago committed suicide because he got bullied because he was a male cheerleader. I'm against violence. If that was my son, I'd be like, hey, son, you're getting mental help.
Oh yes, blame the victim for expressing himself and not the people that bully him. Great parenting.
He should have been on suicide watch. You see what's happening to this you see what's happening, people? This equality shit's ridiculous, and it's destroying this country. I'm not for equality, because not everybody is equal. Not everybody is equal.
Yeah, gay people that want to live together. I'm sorry that you can't get marriage benefits that straight couples do, but nobody's equal. So just pay off those taxes that would otherwise be exempt. Sorry, black people who are disproportionately represented as criminals, drug addicts that get unfair treatment from police, but nobody's equal. So just suck it up and deal with it. Sorry, low-income workers that only make enough money to put food on the table, but nobody's equal. You just don't work hard enough like these successful CEOs. It's not like the establishment is rigged against you or anything. Tell me, asshole, why can't we all be equal? Why should one group of people be inherently superior to other groups and therefore get better treatment? It's easy for you to say that because you're a white man. I am too, but unlike you, I can sympathize with other people.
But when you throw in equality, the society is being destroyed. And if you don't go along with it, you're considered a bigot. Good, I'll be a Christian bigot. I'm perfectly fine with that. I'll be a bigot if I'm the last motherfucker on planet Earth to stick up for traditional.
You know what else is traditional? Slavery. And if I recall, you're actually against racism.
I don't have any kids. I have an 11-year-old niece, and I fear for her that if she wants to be a cheerleader one day or something. They're going to allow some guy on the team because he wants to be on the team, and if he doesn't get on the team, it's called discrimination because he's a transgender.
Once again, transgenderism is not just a guy cross-dressing. I think you have a problem with drag queens and not transgenders.
They should beat the living fucking shit out of him. I'm against violence. They should beat the living fucking shit out of him until he decides not to be on the team. Football is made for guys. Cheerleading is made for girls. That's the way it needs to stay. Because this new world order crap, we're going to have to start taking the manners into our own hands. That's what we got to do. We got to take the manners into our own hands.
And in typical conspiracy theory fashion, he feels that equality is part of the New World Order. Don't get vaccines! Obama's a communist dictator! Look! Chemtrails! Oh my god!
Because these sick fucking politicians that make laws depending on their fucking views and making everybody else go along with it.
But it's okay if Republicans do it.
And if you're transgender, get mental help. Flag my video and cry to YouTube that I was discriminating. Yeah.
This, my friends, is definitely the face of a mature and pleasant person.
We didn't have this problem 20 years ago. We didn't have lesbians raising kids 20 years ago. We didn't have gay parents.
Yeah, watching happy two mother and two father families raising healthy kids is just repulsive.
Which is destroying traditional family values. It should be one man and one woman raising kids. Not two fathers, not two mothers. It can't happen. No. No, you can't do it!
Instead of giving a reason, I just shake my head and go, "No! No, you can't do it!" Works every time.
And no, you can't get married.
Why, Rob? Is it because...
No! Go cry to Obama and stop sucking his dick.
And let me tell you to stop sucking Ted Nugent's dick.
I'm sorry, I won't do it. I will not stick up for gay marriage. I will not stick up for equality adoption, whatever the fuck they call it. Having a nice little family. They belong in a mental institution. That's where they belong. They need help. It's a sickness. It's a disease.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how stable a family raised by gay parents is. They should be institutionalized for where they put their dick in. Or not having a dick in them, period.
It's not normal. I don't think any fucking thing is normal anymore. My camera's about to cut off. I gotta make this quick. Flag my video and cry to YouTube. How do you have a dick and a penis? You can only have one. You're born with the... I'm sorry, a vagina and a penis. You can only have one.
That's because they don't. They get their genitals reconfigured to the appropriate one depending on what sex they're trying to be. Also, you probably never heard of hermaphrodites before.
I totally said that wrong. No, a dick and a penis. It came out wrong. Oh my god. I meant to say, how do you have a vagina and a penis? That's what I meant to say. I totally screwed up there.
I'm too stupid to edit my videos, so I have some random guy with a Mario avatar do it for me.
Yeah. You're either born female or you're either born male. You can't change, you can't change gender. Sex and gender is the same thing.
Wrong! Sex and gender are two different things. Sex is biological, while gender is a social construct. Gender describes the characteristics that societies and cultures deem as either masculine or feminine. The goal of a transgender is to achieve the highest level of either one, and it usually involves having the same assets as that gender. So then they go through sex change operations and inject themselves with either testosterone or estrogen. A few years ago, I watched a video in college where we got to see a woman logging her transitioning to a man. At the end, he looks and sounds like a man so well that you would never have guessed that he was a woman originally. That's how awesome these transitions can get. We have the technology and medical expertise to pull this off.
You're born with one or you're born with the other.
And those who don't feel comfortable in their gender should feel miserable for the rest of their lives for the sake of conformity to my religious views.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Blaze the Movie Fan, and it's time for another commentary. This time I will be doing a commentary on M-School 01. Now, I know that a lot of people aren't going to like this commentary since M-School 01 has a lot of fans.
So you think that people are going to criticize you just because they are fans? I would see fanboys do that, yes, but not everyone who enjoys M-Skull's videos are fanboys.
But keep in mind that I don't hate M-School 01. In fact, I enjoy most of his commentaries. It's just this commentary of his that I have some problems with. Second off, some people might accuse me of being a PM Rants fanboy after they saw this video. And yes, I'm willing to admit, maybe I am a PM Rants fanboy.
It's noble of you to admit your fanboyism, but it's certainly nothing to be loud and proud of. In fact, last time I checked, I thought fanboys defend what they like despite of logical fallacies. And as we continue along with the video, Blaze the Movie Fan is going to do just that. Now, since this commentary focuses mainly on M-Skull 01 and Blaze the Movie Fan, I'm going to exclude all footage of PM rants. But to make sure there isn't any confusion, I will present text summarizing his actions between their points.
Are we about to watch a Kanye West music video or something?
No, the reason why he gave this warning is because some of his choices on that list doors have flashy lights and stuff like that.
Well, no shit, Sherlock. Of course M-Skull would know that. He's just making a joke.
You sure about that?
Of course he's sure. He has fans, and obviously they were waiting for this video.
You clearly do not understand sarcasm, do you?
Way to show the most obvious choices, especially these two. How cliché can one man get?
Yeah, I will admit that in his original worst list he had obvious and cliché choices. But so what? Just because his choices were obvious or cliché doesn't mean that he can't tell his opinion about them.
But the problem is, if someone picks cliché choices for a list of worst YouTube users, it gets really redundant. Because when the hardcore kid decided to do one, we already thought up of numerous individuals who would be on the list.
What is up with crappy top 10 lists and movie posters?
Well, I can answer both of your questions. First of all, he enjoys making top 10 lists. And second of all, he is a big movie fan. That's the reason why he has so many posters.
M-Skull asked that question because for some reason with every worst YouTube user list, the one hosting is standing behind movie posters. And sure, PM Rants likes doing top 10 lists, but there are ones that are better than others, and making a list of worst YouTube users is lower than the Fury Abyss.
Wait, you're doing this with a straight face?
Of course he is.
Again, he was joking. You tell me you're a Family Guy fan, but you let stuff like that fly over your head.
Wait, go back. Okay, second edition, as in you done more than one of these? I'm sorry, just... Oh, I'm sorry. Enough fooling around, let's do this.
Yes, he has done more than one of these lists. But so what? Obviously, after he was done listing 10 YouTubers in his previous list, he found more channels that he didn't like and he wanted to talk about them. Hence the reason why he made a second edition.
What M-Skull meant was that PM Rants is like Friedberg and Seltzer. It doesn't matter how much shit you make, just as long as you get your satisfactory of making them.
Let me show you that my humor has evolved by giving you a facepalm, the most cliché reaction to anything on the internet.
Okay, maybe that facepalm expression is cliché, but honestly, I think that it fits to the video. I mean, he's talking about something that obviously gives him a facepalm, so it makes sense.
Or PM Rants could have done something more than just a regular facepalm, like a double facepalm, hair palm, table palm, the list goes on.
You were a teenager. There you go.
That's exactly what he just said. You just added to his argument.
Just saying what the other person said does not add anything. In fact, when you did your commentary on my Defending Family Guy video, you didn't really add anything. You were just paraphrasing what I said.
But really, if you're going to compare George Carlin to a YouTube celebrity, of course a YouTube celebrity is going to look inferior. You might as well compare F. Scott Fitzgerald to a fanfiction writer.
What do you know? Actually, a good point. Yes, it is indeed a very strange comparison. I will admit that.
Now remember Nintendo Machine 1999 and how I was explaining to them how to make commentaries? Apparently, I need to give this guy a lesson too. You see, Blaze, if you admit that the person you are arguing against is correct, then that seriously hurts your argument. And with that said, so much for PM Rants fanboy, am I right?
So let me see if I get this straight. Making a show centered around celebrity gossip and making fun of celebrities is bad, yet making a second list complaining about YouTube celebrities is okay?
Well, he personally doesn't like videos that are gossip about celebrities, and that's okay because that's his opinion. And he also enjoys making those lists, and that's okay too.
But it's also showing complete hypocrisy and double standards. How is talking about YouTube celebrities anything different from talking about real-life celebrities?
Has this ever happened to you? Hey, an English professor from Yale is giving a lecture about new historicism. Click. Oh my god, Miley Cyrus, oh my god! If you go to his channel, you get to see that he's on most of his thumbnails for the videos, so you know what you're gonna get either way.
I will admit that I am a fan of Michael Buckley myself, and I have been a fan of his for almost 2 years now. And I can tell you, yes, Michael Buckley is attention whore. He uses big titles and asks people to rate, comment and subscribe. And that does make him an attention whore.
I'm not a fan of Michael Buckley, but I know for a fact that the whole misleading subtitles and thumbnails are not true. PM Rants is lying to you all, and Blaze the Movie Fan is firming that lie. How do I know it's a lie? By watching the damn videos. Seriously, watch them and then come back to tell me they're fake. Also, Blaze the Movie Fan, if you think he's an attention whore at all, then why the fuck are you subscribed to him?
Yeah, we shouldn't be making videos about celebrity gossip. We should be talking about more important issues. I mean, take PM Rants for example. He makes parodies of YouTube celebrities and talks about the No Cussing Club and rants about cartoons and talks about Kim Kardashian and he talks about the rise of American fascism. That's something. And Justin Bieber versus Blood on the Dance Floor.
He never claimed that he talks about important issues in his videos. You're the one who brought it up.
What M. Skull meant was that if talking about celebrities doesn't deserve to be anything important, then why should PM Rants be the one saying that, considering that what he usually makes are, according to M. Skull, nothing important?
You know, just to save time, I'm going to skip through some of these.
I'm glad that you are skipping some of the parts of the video, because honestly, this is your worst video so far, M. Skull 01.
And I'm glad that M. Skull is skipping because I don't have to hear more of your hopeless attempts at making a decent argument.
So I'm legally obliged to tell you that joke was given to us by Brett, so next time you see Brett, give him $1.
No, I won't, because that joke sucked.
That's only your opinion.
Wow, that is really messed up, man. I'm starting to see eye to eye with this video. Maybe this
So, you just admitted that you agree with PM Rants on that. Well, okay then. I thought the point of this video was to point out flaws.
You are absolutely right, Blaze the Movie Fan, but there's just a little problem with that. Your commentary on me was nothing negative and only praise. As much as I was happy for that, I can't deny the fact that you just made yourself a hypocrite right there.
You guys already know the trope. I say, oh, maybe this video is not so bad, and suddenly, oh, turns out I've set myself up for disappointment.
I actually wanna know the real reason why you didn't like the video. But alright, I am going through the rest of the video first.
Well, if you've seen the whole video before you actually commentated on it, you would know that M. Skull finds these type of lists completely pointless, because YouTube is not all about professionalism.
Oh yeah, I forgot. This isn't the only list you made.
This is the third time in the video that you mention the other list that he made. I get your point, man. You don't like the fact that he made another list like this. So please, stop reminding me about that other list. Thank you very much.
All you have done is make bad points and your argument is on the verge of collapsing. So why should he listen to you at this point?
Well, I'm pretty sure the other guys gave the same reasons that you're giving.
So, you're saying that because many people have talked about Onision, PM Rants can't have his own reasons to hate that guy. Let me tell you something. I have seen a lot of movie reviews of the same movie, and you know what? Different movie reviewers have different reasons for liking or disliking the movie that they're reviewing.
But movies and YouTube celebrities are two completely different things, so the same rule cannot apply. And even if it's just his opinion, it's more likely going to be the same exact opinion as everyone else's.
Yep, your humor really has evolved.
You don't really need balls in order to make fun of or bashing a popular YouTuber. Yeah, sure, some other fans will get pissed at you for speaking badly about them or parodying them. But laughing at their comments or ignoring them is easy.
How is what you just said defending PM Rance's level of humor?
I hate psychologically damaged YouTubers. They're the worst.
I'm sorry to say, but the way you made fun of what PM Rance said kinda sucked.
Again, that's only your opinion.
I feel the same way about people who make these kinds of lists.
So you're saying that making a worst list makes you a bad person? What? People are not allowed to have negative opinions?
No! God damn it, Blaze, you don't get it! He's not saying that all top 10 lists are bad, just a list of worst YouTube users, because in the long run, it doesn't really make a difference. Are you that ignorant?
Rants, on the other hand, means you're talking about something in a very passionate, often venomous manner where you're so angry about something you just have to let it out. You have to share the entire world your feelings about who's better, Justin Bieber or Blood on the Dance Floor.
Well, PM Rants enjoys making those rants. I don't see anything wrong with that.
M-Skull is saying that PM Rance's view on the title Onision Speaks is nothing different from his own name. Do I have to spell everything out for you?
Which is why I made a video making fun of comments I got.
So, you're saying that just because he made a video making fun of the comments he got, he can't take criticism? Well, I did see that video that you mentioned myself. And I have to be honest, most of the comments that he made fun of in that video are fucking stupid comments. And they were mostly just people hating on PM Rants. And also, the fact that PM Rants left a comment on your commentary and took it very well means that he can, in fact, take criticism.
He could just ignore them, you know. That's usually the more mature route. Yes, I made a video bitching about comments before, but that was a long time ago and I'm no longer like that.
The worst part is that people like a guy that I don't like.
Well, I can't see why he doesn't like the fact that people like his videos. I mean, after all, fanboys can be annoying.
But remember, not every fan of a fan base is a fanboy. There are rational and mature people of said fan bases. The fact of the matter stands. People subscribe to him because they want to see more of his content, even if it's something that you or PM Rants don't like.
Allow me to show you that I'm welcoming to other people's opinions by generalizing an entire group as stupid.
The reason why he calls his fanbase stupid is because he doesn't see the entertainment value of those videos.
Then hate the source, not the people enjoying them. Making generalizations like that is a big no-no.
You're a terrible person. I hate you so much. You're an asshole, you're an egotist, and you're one of the worst people on this entire website. Also, get some help, buddy. I'm worried about you.
I don't know whether you were making fun of what PM Rants just said, or you were stating your honest opinion on PM Rants. If it's the latter, I just gotta ask, how exactly does PM Rants need help? He is stating his honest opinion.
You know what? I'm not going to explain it to you, Blaze, because people with a half a brain understood what M-Skull was trying to say, and it's your responsibility to figure it out yourself.
Really? No reference to I have no mouth and I must scream?
What was the point of what you just said?
Again, figure it out for yourself. I'm not going to keep holding your damn hand.
When it's someone I like, they have fans. When it's someone I don't like, they have drones.
The reason why he calls them drones is because he doesn't get the entertainment value of the guy.
And this goes back to me saying that it's an overgeneralization, and people who think that way should get smacked upside the head for it.
I'm skipping most of the things of M-Skull01's commentary on PM Rancer's #1 spot, because to be honest, I actually agree with M-Skull01's points there and don't have much to say about it.
Nice job, Blaze the movie fan, because you just completely thwarted your own attempts of making a good argument. If you agree with any of the major points of the video, then your entire argument becomes null and void.
Now it's time for my overall thoughts. M-Skull01, if you are watching this video, I just want you to keep in mind that I don't hate you. I don't have anything against you.
Even though you clearly insulted him with his jokes. Hey, M-Skull, your jokes sucked major ass. Also, I think you're really awesome.
In fact, I enjoy most of your commentaries, but this commentary is your worst commentary so far.
And I feel the same way for this video, buddy.